Okay, so I get tons of mail and questions from my clients and members about how to handle sibling rivalry, the jealousy, the competition, the fighting. Now, whether those challenges are physical or verbal in nature, it can really interrupt the overall emotional health of the relationships in our family. So today, I want to delve into what your kids need to tolerate their siblings and build respect so that they can resolve conflict peacefully on their own. Sibling challenges can stem from developmental needs or personality differences, but most often they come from unprocessed feelings which create a sense of isolation or inadequacy or disconnection, which leaves kids, especially young children, with not much but their survival instincts to rely on, especially when faced with obstacles or frustration. Your needs are valid. You want your kids to get along, to support each other, to protect and stand up for each other. These are very primal survival instincts that are triggered in you when you see your kids fight. But a pattern of ignoring the conflict or overhandling it or managing it with a blind right-wrong approach instead of the patience and curiosity required for you to make emotionally intelligent choices, that can increase the amount of conflict that you actually experience. So here's the thing. If you use shame or assign blame to one child over another or force repair and not allow kids to voice their upset or their intentions, you risk ignoring their emotional needs, and that's where the cycle ensues. When children don't have the freedom to disagree or dislike each other because they're family, or when they're forced to love each other no matter what, this can really fuel the divide. So it's important to look at how the family dynamics are set up, because much of the time actual sibling rivalry is more of a parent-child issue and not a child-to-child issue. If love and acceptance or attention are in short supply, kids are going to show you with their behavior. Fighting over Legos or TV time or who's sitting in the prized family living room chair are only symbols of our kids' greater attempts to be seen and to be known and to be heard. So here are my top tips for helping your kids manage their conflicts with each other. My first tip is be a mediator, not a meddler. Know when your kids need you to step in and when you can just step back and be a listener. Our reactions may be to fix or mend the situation. We might rush in with judgments or assumptions and say things like, "Now knock it off, I don't want to hear any more of this arguing." You play with your brother and you include him. Or you might say, "I told you 3 times to stop fighting, now be nice or we will not come to the park again." But these reactions, they deny our kids the opportunity to investigate the other person's needs and wishes and then reevaluate their own. We get hung up on figuring out who did what and then trying to remedy that based on our idea of fairness instead of allowing children to have their feelings and then staying with them as they move through those emotions, learning to listen to each other. To be a mediator, you listen for the pain, the hurt, and the discomfort, and then you reframe it for kids. When you hear, "You never let me do what I want. She always gets to do everything she wants." Instead of saying, "Oh, she does not. You're being ridiculous." Reframe what you hear. "You don't like it when I make choices for you. It feels unfair and it feels like your sister gets to do a lot more for herself." Or when you hear, "She won't let me play." Reframe it. "You don't like being excluded. You wish that she would invite you to play more often." Or when you hear, "I want you to hold me. You never hold me. You only hold the baby." Reframe it. "You're feeling left out because I'm holding the baby a lot these days. I bet sometimes you wish you were the baby again so I could hold you all the time." Again, now you're not endlessly solving problems for your kids, but you're using empathy to prompt your child's capacity to think and reflect on the situation for themselves. My next suggestion to help your kids build a closer bond is to lose the labels. We assign roles based on behavior a lot. We say, "Oh, she's always been a good baby, but this one, he never slept." Or he's constantly tormenting his sister. "Oh, he's a little terror. She always does well in school, unlike her brother." That rush to judge and label and interpret behavior and assume intention, that can cause a lot of acrimony among siblings and among parents and children, and a lot of desperation in your kid. No one likes to be called names. No one likes to be labeled. But those labels influence your child's behavior far more than your discipline. These messages are woven into the fabric of a child's identity. When we label one child as the victim and the other as aggressor or take sides based on our adult perspective of the situation, we can arouse the fear alarm in our kids. Then kids feel unheard. And this brings up feelings of threat in the body where the mind says, "This is not safe." And then they're prompted to find relief, but often that relief comes in the form of retribution or overpowering their siblings. When you hear, "He called me a stupid idiot," instead of saying, "Why are you so mean? What did I just say about the language?" Or to your other child, "You know he's just trying to upset you. Just ignore him." You can say, "That would make me upset if I heard that too." And to your other child, you can say, "I expect you to show how you feel without name calling. What was it that you were really trying to say?" Or if you have a child that says, "He keeps on touching me on purpose," instead of saying, "Just move over." Or to the other child, "Stop being an instigator." You can say, "You feel that he's doing this just to annoy you. I would be annoyed too if I thought that." Let kids have their feelings so that they can transform them into the energy they need to solve their own problems. Now, my final tip for you is to let go of the past. Your own experience as a child and your position in your family, whether you were the oldest or the youngest or the middle or maybe even an only child, that has a profound effect on your perception and your reactions. Unless you make a conscious effort to breathe through those triggers, especially when you see one child maybe hurting another, if you had an older sibling who was hurtful to you, you may be triggered into an exaggerated fear response. Or you may want to ensure that your kids never go through what you went through. So you try to make them be friends or make them love each other, and you try to stomp out any potential conflict. It can be really uncomfortable to watch our kids expressing their anger with each other because we're afraid that it might escalate, or that if we allow it, it won't transform into understanding. But if you don't allow it, you are very likely going to create your own worst fears. So breathe through those instant reactions and give your kids creative tools to express and reflect. You can say, "I won't let you pinch your sister, but I have some Play-Doh here. It's really good for squeezing. You want to try?" Or you can say, "We can't hit people, but try showing me your anger with this pillow." Or with an older child, you could say, "You're so angry that your brother touched your project. I'm not going to let you ruin his things, but maybe you can show him your feelings in a letter if you're not ready to talk." Only when we give our children the space to first feel and then release their upset will they follow our suggestions for more peaceful interactions. That was my teachable moment for you. So what do you think? Are you feeling more comfortable about resolving conflict with your kids? Or have you uncovered anything about how you may have been contributing to the sibling rivalry that you see in your home? Because I would love to know what has been getting in the way of your kids getting along. Leave me a note in the comments and share your story, because when you share your story, you never know. You might just be the one to inspire someone else towards the change that they were looking for. Now, did you like this video? Because if so, I would love it if you would share it with a friend or a family member or on your favorite social media site, because when you share the love spreads. And if you want more free trainings like this, be sure to visit me on my website at teachthroughlove.com, because when you do, I will send you all kinds of free cool stuff to help you create the family that you deserve. Or for a monthly support option with no commitment and all the change, you can check out my Family Peace Project membership program, and you can even try it out free for 5 days. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, please remember, it's about consciousness, not perfection.